Hello and good evening. Today I'm going to talk to you about frequently asked questions about homeopathy. A lot of patients and people are skeptical about homeopathy, about the way it works, about whether it is really very effective and when and who can use it. So the attempt here is to try and understand how homeopathy works and to try and answer the various questions asked by many people. So what I've done here is got together around 10 to 12 questions about homeopathy and tried to answer them in the best possible way. Now the first question that many people ask us is that how do homeopathic medicines act? What one needs to understand is that homeopathic medicines are a pharmaceutical science that uses various extracts of plants, animals, and mineral sources to produce its medicines. The medicines are chosen individually because of their ability to cure what they can cause. This, in homeopathy, means the law of similars. The medicine thus selected acts on the natural defense system of individuals and helps them to heal. Thousands of doctors all over the world have successfully cured cases from simple corns to cancer with the use of homeopathic medicines. Homeopathic medicines are more accurate because the base of homeopathic medicines lies in the drug proving, which is done on healthy human beings, unlike other scientific methods of healing where the provings are done on lower animals. So the source of the data that we have is much more accurate than on the data collected by the other systems of medicines where they collect the data based on only the observations on the effects of any particular drug on lower animals. So now why do homeopathic doctors ask so many questions? This is another question that keeps on coming up at various forums. So what you need to understand as is that homeopathy works on exactness. And as homeopathic medicines are proven on healthy human provers, we have a lot of accurate symptoms which are indexed in the form of repertories, etc. So we have detailed observations about the way the homeopathic medicine can have an effect on the various organs and systems, etc. etc. At the same time, homeopathy also tries to understand the person who's suffering from the disease, and hence it takes into account all the details at the physical level, at the mental level, and emotional level of a person. And in order to understand all this, the doctor asks you so many questions. Now, many patients ask us this that it is said that homeopathic doctors give doses of substances that can cause symptoms to those in the sick in order to cure them. How is this possible? As I said earlier, that homeopathic medicines are produced from extracts of plants, minerals, and animals, and healthy proving and proven on healthy human beings. They are individually chosen because of their ability to produce certain set of symptoms. So basically, symptoms represent the effort of our body or effort of our systems to react in a particular way and defend ourselves from various stress and infections, etc. And many times we see that the body alone is not successful in dealing with every stress and every infection. So it is important for us to find a substance in nature that has the capacity to mimic the symptoms that the person is experiencing and hence aid the body in its effort to defend itself and ultimately heal itself. This is exactly what we mean by law of similars. This is the basic principle in homeopathy, and it is also used in many other conventional modes of treatment. Like, for example, it is the same principle on the basis of which immunization works or allergic treatments work. So, this is how homeopathic medicines are used for healing people. Now, often there is a doubt in people's minds that these are so small pills, and can these small pills cure pathological problems? We frequently hear this debate on this topic, but history has shown us that even as early as 1800, when Europe was battling with yellow fever and cholera and many other infectious disease, what the scientists at that time or the doctors at that time found out was that the death rate of people who were treated in homeopathic hospitals was almost half in comparison to the death rate of people who were treated in conventional medical hospitals. So, this goes on to show that homeopathy has the capacity of positively affecting the illness, and you can really expect a lot of cures through homeopathy. Personally, I have used homeopathy in gross pathological cases and non healing wounds, etc., where we have very, very encouraging results. And because of that, we have been able to prevent gross complications. We have been able to save amputations and so many other problems we have been able to handle with these small magic pills. Another question that comes up frequently is, do homeopathic medicines have any side effect? As I said before, homeopathic medicines are prepared from naturally occurring substances like plants, minerals, and animal extracts. And the method by which the homeopathic medicine is produced is a method of serial dilution. So we go on diluting the original substance to make it more and more easily palatable and more safe for our patients, and hence it rarely cause any adverse reactions. It is important to note that when homeopathic medicine is given, it acts as a catalyst on the defense system of a person and it promotes healing. So, homeopathic medicines have very, very few side effects. So, this question is that if a person is using homeopathic medicines, is it possible for him to use conventional drugs at the same time? Now, with growing types of complicated diseases that we see in modern times, this question is very, very relevant because many a times people are taking antihypertensive medicines, many a times people are taking medicines for their thyroid, and so on and so forth. And then this question comes, do I stop the thyroid medication? Do I stop the hypertension medication and just be on homeopathy? So, first of all, common sense should prevail. Many a times these conditions have been with you for quite some time, and suddenly stopping any medication will really cause more and more complications. So, though it is possible to take them together, many a times we have seen that homeopathic medicines can work fast enough, and at times we also see that using this combination of homeopathic medicines and conventional medicines, eventually you can reduce the doses of conventional drugs. Some conventional medicines are, however, very strong and they can inhibit the action of homeopathic medications. So, in such situations, we must really decide what is good for the patient and continue only one form of medication in those kind of cases. This is a very popular question that many people are in a habit of using over the counter medicine. So they go to the particular pharmacy or go to a particular shop, or many a times these kind of medicines are available even in supermarkets, etc. So should these kind of over the counter medicines be used? Okay, so this is generally what we have seen is these are generally combinations of homeopathic medicines which have been found very useful in general conditions. So you can get a combination for backache, you can get a combination for constipation, and so on and so forth. And it is just available over the counter without any prescription as well. So many a times, of course, these are very, very useful and they are safe because they don't produce any adverse effects. But ideally, we homeopaths believe that the medicine which is individually chosen for that person works the best. So it is always advisable, be it a chronic case or an acute case, it is advisable that you preferably try and consult your homeopathic doctor or at least a medical expert who will be able to advise you whether this kind of medication should be used for the time being. This is also one burning question that many patients ask us. Are there any restrictions about food when taking homeopathic medications? What is interesting that a lot of homeopathic medications are also produced from food substances that we eat. So for example, we have homeopathic medicines prepared from the common salt or onion or garlic and so on and so forth. And it has been found that some medicines may not work very effectively if certain food articles are consumed raw. So, when taking the medicine, you have to be very, very cautious about what you're eating as well. And you should ask your doctor whether there are certain restrictions as far as the food items are concerned, because it actually depends on what kind of medication has been given to you. So, there are certain antidotes to that particular medication which can be something what you're eating. So, in that case, it is always best that you ask your doctor about any do's and don'ts about taking homeopathic medicine and eating certain kind of foods together. This brings me to the next question as to how to take the homeopathic medicine. Generally, what we advise is that you should take the medicine directly, just allow it to dissolve in your mouth, because this is the easiest and the most effective way of administrating homeopathic medicine. Generally, we advise that you should not eat anything immediately before and after. So, at least you should keep a 15 to 20-minute gap between the medication and between the food that you eat. The simple reason is that you are allowing the medicine to dissolve in your mouth. So, generally, if you have eaten something and immediately if you take the medicine, it can reduce the efficacy of the medicine. So that's the reason why we say that you should have a 15 to 20-minute gap between your medication and food. Do homeopathic medicines have an expiry date? Now, homeopathic medicines are prepared with alcohol as a preservative, and the role of alcohol is to preserve the healing powers of the medicine. However, changes in the atmosphere, frequent handling, and many other things can cause the pills to turn brown or yellowish. In such cases, you should always discard these pills as they may not be effective, and you should ask for a replacement. So, always remember that if you see that there is any change in the color or texture of the medicine, you should always discard and try and procure new medicines. The pills given run dry after a few days. Are they still effective? So many times what happens is that the medicines that are dispensed in those small globules, eventually the globules dry, and a lot of people have this doubt that initially when I started taking the medicine, they had a kind of smell, but now that smell is not coming. So whether the medicine is effective or not. So these pills that are used are having a certain capacity to absorb the medicine that is dispensed over them. And beyond that, whatever excess remains will evaporate, because after all, it is alcohol. So, though it evaporates, though it runs dry, the homeopathic pills are equally effective. So, there's no need to panic and feel that the homeopathic medicine is dry and so it may not be effective. On the other hand, there are certain potencies or certain powers of homeopathic medicines which are available as dry pre-medicated globules or small discs or even tablets nowadays. So that doesn't mean that they are not effective. Now, are homeopathic medicines safe during pregnancy? Homeopathic medicines are very, very safe and very, very effective during various ailments during the entire 9 months of pregnancy. I have personally used homeopathic medicines for management and progress of childbirth, and I find them very effective. Homeopathic medicines are really very user friendly, and that is the reason why even small children love taking it. They will take homeopathic medicines without any hassle. So these were few of the questions that frequently people kept on asking. I thought I'll just make a small presentation out of it. I hope your queries have been answered. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye.